Hello, YouTube.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Today you're seeing the end of an era because today is going to be the final review ever, pretty much, of Breaking Bad. Just a
Ever. No one
single,
else can do another video on it. Just us. This is the final
yeah.
one.
I mean, on this channel, I should have said, but but pretty much, this is the last review we're gonna do like full time now, like of Breaking Bad, pretty much.
We're not done with Breaking Bad content. We'll still do like what ifs, and we'll do Better Call Saul in the movie when it comes out. But for the show, yeah, this is our final episode review.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I was talking about it. It's sad, and it doesn't really feel real that it's over. Like, a lot of people, a lot of fans probably felt this way when they watched the show. Um, I mean, we're talking about this like we've watched this show for years. We literally binge watch this show and stuff. Like a lot. Can you imagine? Like,
I watched it I finished it forever ago.
yeah, but I'm
You
just saying.
have been watching it for years. You spread it
Yeah,
out so much.
but can you imagine the like fans that watch the show like live constantly, like how
Oh,
they
oh,
felt?
it's been torture for them.
Yeah. Um. So let's talk about the final Breaking Bad episode ever. This is season 5, episode 16. And this episode is called Felina. Is that how you say that?
I think it's feline.
Feline?
I think Felina, something like. Anyway, it's an anagram for finale.
Yeah.
It's an anagram for finale.
Yeah. And this episode came out for the final time, originally, September 29th, 2013. Because I have a feeling like maybe it came out like in the UK or like Japan on a different day or something. So originally, though, it aired that date. And let's just start. So what we're going to do is we're going to collab with this one because there's really only like one big,
one storyline going on, yeah.
which makes sense. Like, you don't, on the final episode of like a TV show, you don't want to, have a multiple.
I think it's mostly because all the major players are gone. Saul is, in hiding. Mike is dead. Now it's really just Walt and him wanting to make amends in a way.
Yeah. So the episode starts off with Walt stealing somebody's truck to get away. Yeah, back in New Hampshire to get away from the police, and it was a very good scene. Because it's like the final time we know it's gonna be like the final time we're gonna see Walt, or just see this show, and yeah, it's just a very good scene. It was very simple. He can't find the keys at first, and like right when the police are about to catch him, he like finally finds the keys like in the I forget what they call it, but like those things that you pull out, like the mirror on the car and stuff like that. I forget what it's called, but and then it shows the intro, which we were seeing for one last time. And do you want to talk about the beginning? What happens, like the first scene that we see coming back from the intro?
Well, we see Jesse, and he is having a daydream of sorts back to when he was in high school, and he was making that wooden box for wood class, and how he was, made it really good, and he was really proud of it. But he sold it for a bag of meth.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, he really did sell it for a bag of meth because he traded his future so he could be a meth slave now, pretty much.
Yeah, and I thought that was a very nice show on that kind of made what I thought was a nice like story, kind of seeing like, okay, now Jesse actually sold his life for meth.
Yeah, and like that story he told back then has like a whole new meaning now, and like it's really sad,
Yeah.
Although and I think it gives an idea of like what he does after this episode, like.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that at the end of the video because now I know I was able to look up the movie stuff because I wasn't able to before we watched this episode.
Right, you don't want to get spoiled.
Yeah. So, Walt pulls up at a gas station and he calls I think like somebody pretending to be like a journalist from the New York Times asking for Elliot and Gretchen's address.
And when they're going to be home.
Yeah. But we find out that they changed addresses. So they give him the new address, and he uses obviously his fake name, and clearly to like he didn't call somebody like because it was like clearly whoever he called like must not be like aware of the Eisenberg case because they didn't seem like you recognized his voice or anything like that.
Well,
so.
I mean, like you wouldn't automatically think when someone calls you that they're a super criminal,
Yeah.
So assumed, oh, okay, and like Walt knows them personally, so he knows a lot about them.
Mm-hmm.
So like he just used that information, and she just assumed like, oh, okay, he must be the New York Times guy.
Yeah. So he drives over to.
Well, actually, before he leaves, Walt puts the watch Jesse gave him, leaves it at the gas station.
That's actually a sad scene too, because kind of shows like their relationship has crumbled from earlier this season.
Actually, originally Vince Gilligan only put it there because of a continuity error. Walt wasn't wearing it in the first episode.
Okay.
So he had him take it off. But yeah, it does have like a bit more like meaning behind it besides just continuity.
Yeah. So yeah, Walt drives to their house, and the way that like Walt shows up is very creepy. Like they just kind of proceed to have like a normal conversation, and I think too like they turned like they did like the security like not cameras but like alarms on, and since Walt was already in the house, the alarm didn't go off. But the way that Walt just shows up in this house is just very like Walt like he just shows up out of nowhere, and they're just having like a normal conversation. Then Gretchen comes over and just sees Walt there.
And I love how nonchalant he was. Like he just like closed the door behind him.
Yeah.
Looked at pictures, and he was just like, hey, Elliot, hey, Gretchen, how you doing?
Now this has to be said. Elliot, you got some big ears, man.
I even said like he could have just flown away with his dumb ears.
Yeah, like there's no way this had to have been the same actor, because I would have noticed it then.
No, it is the same actor.
Really? Because I thought his ears were like he's got some big ears. Like,
poor guy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is his whole life. We're just bullying at this point.
Yeah. And he pulls a knife out on Walt, and I like this because this shows how feared that Walt is. Because Elliot could easily like stab him, but Walt, he's so afraid of Walt that he doesn't. Even Walt says, you're gonna need a bigger knife to kill me with. So he asks for them to get something in the trunk of his car, and what is it?
He probably made him think that like he was gonna kill him. Like, hey, let's go for a walk.
Yeah. But he didn't kill him. He didn't kill him. He grabs like 90 million, a little over 90 million of it, his money.
No, 9 million, not 90 million.
Oh. Yeah, a little over 9 million of his money. And pretty much what he wants is he wants them to give it to Walter Jr. When he turns 18, and he can spend it as he pleases. He wants them to spend it.
Hoping that he'll use it for college and help his family out.
Now, obviously, I gotta make this joke. Can you imagine if Walter Jr. just blows the money on something stupid? Then Walter.
I would love that.
That needs to be an episode now where Walter Jr. just what would he blow it on?
He buys every pancake in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Like he just.
Now he has all the breakfast.
Yeah, like then Walt's work would all be for nothing if he just blew it on something stupid. Like, and pretty much like this makes sense like why Walt would do this, because he explains like Elliot and Gretchen have like own this big company, and no one would think anything of it if they were the ones that gave Walter Jr. the money.
Especially because they know Walt personally.
Yeah, because that's at first what they were like, because they don't they were kind of like, why would we just randomly be giving your son, who he's never really met before, all this money? Because he's probably met Gretchen and Elliot before, but not really like full on in a conversation or anything.
Yeah, not like super familiar with them. Walt says, "You knew me personally, and my family are blameless victims of their monster dad." So
yeah, and Walt says they're not to spend like a penny of this money on like their own personal interests or anything like that.
No, it was actually the opposite. He said, "Don't spend any of your money on my kids, like taxes, whatever, lawyers. it comes out of my money, not yours.
But I thought he said like he said that, but I thought he said too like don't spend it like on personal interest too. Like I don't want a penny of this spent on yourselves in a way. Just spend.
Yeah, a little bit of both. But like it just kind of shows that Walt's too prideful. He doesn't want any of his money spent on them, but he doesn't want them to spend any of their money on his kids. He wants only his money going to only his kids.
Right. So then you think everything's gonna be fine. Well, I mean, they probably thought that. I was like, okay, there's got to be something. Like we're waiting for Eisenberg to come out. So what happens is these red lasers. And notice I'm saying red lasers because there's a reason I'm saying it this way, as if the like hitmen pop out. And Walt says
they are the best hitmen west of the Mississippi.
Yeah. And he says, that he spent like, about 2 million of the, maybe like 200,000. I'm not very good at guessing numbers. He says it in the episode, but he spent, a good portion of his money hiring the best hitmen. And says
he
that.
Didn't actually, but we'll find out later.
Yeah. But he says, that, if they don't get this, that if Walter Jr. doesn't get this money, and I believe if you like tell anybody about this, you're gonna, be living your normal lives, talking about, how you're gonna buy stock and stuff like that, and from out of nowhere, you're gonna get killed by hitmen, and you're not gonna see it coming, pretty much. Which I really liked because I thought it was just an Eisenberg thing to do for him to say.
Yeah, now they need to live in fear until they get Walter Jr.'s money.
And you made a point to say, man, those hitmen, right? And I didn't think of anything of it when you said it at first. But why don't you say the next scene?
Walt pulls up to the forest where the hitmen were, and it's revealed when they jump in the car that it's just Badger and Skinny Pete with laser pointers.
Yeah. So
truly the killing machines of America.
Yeah, exactly.
Best
I mean, those laser pointers can do a lot of damage. They can blind you, man. So
exactly. No, they're just so good. They don't even need real weapons.
Yeah, exactly. But
Legend says Badger could have killed Gus easily.
Yeah. So it was nice. Like that they brought Badger and Skinny Pete, because even though they haven't been like big characters on Breaking Bad, they were important enough to bring back here. So. Because it was like, some of the roles that they did were pretty important. So
yeah, like they were originally like the ones who were out selling the blue meth. So.
Yeah. And
Combo, rest in peace.
Walt, asked about the blue meth, and Badger and Skinny Pete like just assumed that Walt was the one making the meth, but they find out that it's not, and when they reveal that they haven't seen any, Jesse in like. Probably the last time they seen him, probably a few months. Walter realizes that it's Jesse making the meth, and this like sets up everything that we've been seeing in the first scene of this season, and episode 9 where he goes and buys the gun and he gets the license. One scene though that we saw that we didn't see originally is when Walt's actually leaving his house. He reminisces. About the first episode when, Hank is telling him, like, why don't you come on a line with me? You could use some excitement in your life. And that scene now means so much more than it did back then.
Walt got his excitement.
Yeah. So, the next scene, I believe, is Walt goes to see Lydia. And Todd. Todd and Lydia are doing the typical, like, business conversations and stuff like that. I thought, since a few months had gone by, they were going to end up being like a couple, but it didn't seem like that was the case. Maybe it was setting up to that, but, we find out later on that Walt doesn't believe, Walt didn't want Lydia and Todd together, so that's the main reason he did what he did at the end. He didn't want that couple together, so.
Yeah. Like, I do not ship this.
Yeah. So, Walt shows up too, like you talk about, like Batman, pretty much, like.
Yeah, just out of nowhere.
Yeah, and. Like they'll even have like a conversation. They don't even realize he's there until he sits.
He just pulls up a chair and sits down. Like, hey guys, so.
Yeah, and he offers to because he realizes pretty much that Todd's gonna run out of methylamine at some point. He realizes he's probably getting close because I I believe like a lot. You have to use like a lot of methylamine to do the blue
Yeah,
meth.
and with how often they've been cooking, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So he offers to teach him a new way to cook meth. And we
They
know,
don't need methylamine for.
yeah, and pretty much we know that Walt's bullshitting because like because the methylamine's the better way. So I'm like, okay, something's gonna go down here.
Well, also just because, like, from last time we saw Walt, he was saying how he wanted to kill Jack and his men. So we know he's not really out to help him.
Yeah. So, Lydia agrees, but Jack doesn't, obviously, because, he doesn't really. He probably knows that Walt's planning on killing him and stuff, and doesn't really think that Walt can do much business with them. So, Walt leaves, but they make a point to show like Walt like coughing, like doing his cancer cough, showing that he's on his deathbed.
I think Walt did a lot of this on purpose. Like, he was just trying to make it seem like he was like crazy and like dying.
Yeah, I have a feeling though the cough was real, but he definitely like over exaggerated the cough more than.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
just, like, make himself seem more desperate. Like, I wasted all my money. And,
yeah.
Everything.
So Lydia agrees to it, but it's pretty much going to lead Walt to a trap because she realizes that Jack and Todd and his men are just going to want to kill Walt, right when they see him, pretty much. So, and they also make it a point to show Lydia's, dumping the sugar in her tea.
And you guessed it right away. I was like, lips are sealed. I don't want to say anything.
Yeah. And this ties in later on in the episode. So, because obviously, like, I kind of figured like what happened to Lydia made sense because the camera wouldn't have like shown her tea for no reason. So, this isn't this isn't like what like a really bad movie. We'll just say, even though I haven't seen it yet, so I can't really make this comparison. We'll just say GBF. We'll just say it's not that movie.
Oh yeah, I just told him about GBF. How that's a 10 out of 10 Oscar-winning movie.
Yeah. So then, you want to talk about the scene when Walt goes to see Skylar?
Okay. So police are currently watching our apartment because there are rumors of Walt being in town after Walt had stolen that car in New Hampshire and how her neighbor had seen him. Their old neighbor had seen him. So Walt, Marie calls Skylar, but when she first leaves a message, she says, "Truce, truce," kind of showing that like they're still not like talking.
Yeah.
How Walt like really did mess up this family, like Marie still loves her niece and nephew, but like she doesn't really talk to Skylar anymore.
I thought it showed though, like even though like Marie
they still care about each other, yeah.
Because she like called and warned him that Walt was coming, so.
Yeah, so basically that's what she's saying, and this was actually Marie's last scene, so it was really sad.
Yeah.
But at least shows that like they aren't talking anymore, and their relationship is beyond broken. But like they're still sisters, so they still care about each other.
Yeah.
Like they don't want each other dead. Basically.
Yeah. And that's pretty relatable. Like, I'm not saying like a situation like this, but you'll see situations where like family doesn't talk to each other, but like they don't want each other to die or anything like that.
Yeah.
So.
And so, it is good that Marie's still, like, involved in Walter Jr. and Holly's life, even if, Skylar and her aren't on good terms.
Exactly.
But anyway, Skylar, it pans out. It pans in, actually, and then we see Walt was behind the pillar in their house the whole time. So Walt was already in the house.
Yeah.
What
was awesome in this episode, like the way he just shows up out of nowhere. He was like showing up.
Like Batman. He just like pops in and out whenever he wants.
Because I like how the camera like shows him as like a dog figure at first. When he's in the house and everything, and then it just...
well, at Gretchen Alley, he's just like in the shadow sitting down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Missy wants you.
All right, can you pause this?
Yep.
Hey guys, sorry about that. Just had to help my mom with something. Anyway, Walt and Skylar are meeting up and they're talking. And Skylar's clearly like upset with him, obviously. when he reaches to get some money, she's like, "No, I don't want any of your money." Pretty sure Junior made that clear. Walt gives Skylar the what's it called? Like the paper, the paper with the coordinates for the money. Where the money was, and now it's the burial site for Hank and Gomez.
Yeah.
So Walt gives her that to make a deal and get out of this whole situation. You know, Walt knows that they're already going to be financially secure in a year, in roughly a year. So he's not too worried about that. And even though they won't know it's his money, he's satisfied with it, which is a little sweet, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I like obviously the ending scene. Well, not, the ending scene, but the ending part of this when Walt says, "Please know I did all this," and Skylar's like, "I don't want to hear that you said you did all of this for the family," and Walt says, "No, I did all this for me because I loved it and I was good at it." Something along those lines.
Yeah.
And I like this a lot because it's pretty much something we already knew anyways, but
yeah, it's like it's something everyone around him knew and as the audience knew, but Walt wouldn't admit himself.
And now we get to finally hear him admit it. And I feel like Skylar, while she doesn't forgive Walt, was at least happy that he finally admitted the real reason he did all this stuff. And he gets to see Holly. And
well, actually, before we go on that, I do like, it's a really small moment, but I do like he says that, these Skylar's worried that the people who came and threatened Holly last episode are going to come back.
Yeah.
Walt says they won't after tonight. And Walt says those people are the ones who stole my money and killed Hank.
Yeah.
So, Skylar really did think that Walt did kill Hank.
Yeah.
So it's nice that he made it clear that I wasn't the one who killed Hank.
And then he sees Holly, and I like the scene when Walt and Skylar turn around and you can tell they give each other a look while they didn't mend everything out and they're not going to be 100% good, but they have some closure now about all this stuff.
And he just silently leaves. He didn't say a word.
Yeah, and he looks at Walter Jr. comes home from school and he looks at him. We find out one last time. But I feel like we knew this was going to be the last time he was going to see his family, even if the end didn't go down the way it did. We knew this was the last time that he was going to see. No
matter how it ended, yeah, this would be the last time he saw his kids.
Yeah, and then
which was really sad. You can tell he really regrets everything that happened. Even though he's happy that he cooked meth and he's happy he lived his life the way he wanted, even for a little while, he's sad that he tore his family apart. And his kids,
Yeah, pretty much.
Walt said he wanted his family to remember him in a good way, and they won't, So Walt, even if Walt wins, it's not a complete victory,
Which, actually, I should have said that. We should talk about that. Did Walt win? Because there's a video out there that says, "Did Walt win?" And I want to ask that question at the end.
Yeah, we'll probably do that more towards the end.
So then Walt goes to Jack and Todd's compound. More Jack's compound, but I like to say Todd's too because he's
because I'm pretty sure Jack actually lives there.
Yeah. And they check him for weapons. They take his keys and his wallet, and Walt asks for them back, and this becomes a key part in a second.
And actually, if you notice, when Walt's parking with the neo-Nazi in the passenger seat, the guy's like, "Hey, what are you doing? Park over there."
Yeah.
But Walt is insistent on parking in a certain spot, so that's kind of a hint at what happens.
Yeah. I did notice that too. Yeah, something's there's a reason he wants to park here. So.
And he wants his car keys really bad. So.
Yeah. And they go in and they pretty much reveal that they're just going to kill Walt. They talk. They talk some casual talk for a bit, but they pretty much reveal they're just gonna full on kill him. and Walt begs for his life.
He doesn't really
And
beg. He just like he prods Jack is more what he does.
yeah, and he's upset, that he's lying to him, that him and Jesse are in a partnership. But then this causes them to bring in Jesse, and this was smart because this distracted them long enough so he could like slide over like nonchalantly and grab his car keys.
And I do like how like Walt's pride was his downfall, but like it's also Jack's.
Yeah.
Jack just wasn't prideful. They would have killed Walt.
Yeah. And he shows like, hey, Jesse's not really working with us. He's on meth slave pretty much because he shows them all handcuffed and shackled and everything. So
like saying like, oh, look at my partner, my 50-50 partner. Does this look like a partner to you? Type of thing.
So they get ready to kill Walt, and then he presses the button on his car to open like the.
Well, he tackles Jesse first, making it like seem like he's like attacking him.
Right. So
that they're low enough when well, yeah, you can talk about that.
Yeah, he presses, and we will say that and I agree with you. From this point on, best moments of Breaking Bad, like anything. What we're about to talk about. So, yeah, Walt pushes the button on his car, and the gun pops out as if it's on like a tripod. I know it's not called a tripod. I'm trying to look up the name of it so that way you know.
We saw Walt working on this earlier, but we didn't really know what it was for.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find it because I just freaking had it a second ago, and now I can't seem to find it. Because me, when you have to read something like really quickly, it's hard to, find it. So okay, so yeah, I can't, I can't seem to find it. But
well, anyway, point is, Walt hits the car button. It opens the trunk, and that triggers the gun he mounted inside to start going off and going back and forth.
Yeah.
And because he parked in front of the compound, it mows through everyone inside. But because Walt and Jesse are on the ground, they're below it.
Yeah.
And Todd was also like trying to pick them up. So Todd is able to like escape the fire as well.
And Walt gets hit, which ties in later on.
We see him grunt. He gets hit by like shrapnel or ricochet or something like that.
Yeah. And almost all of Todd's men are dead except for Todd and Jack. And
that scene was awesome. Just like everything getting like lit up. It was awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Walt looks at Jack one last time, and Jack says, "If you kill me, you will never find out where your money is." Pretty much, but he can't finish his sentence. He just kills him mid-sentence, and I thought that was a nice tie-in because he did the same thing to Hank in episode.
And I like how Walt finally stopped giving a shit about his money. Like this whole time, Walt was like, "I want my money. I want my money."
Yeah.
Jack's like, "I can get you your money," and they just shoots him in the head anyway. Like he doesn't even care anymore.
Yeah. And then which is nice because that's like we said, that's why Walt did well. That's why he would tell us he did this all this time. So.
And I like the effect of when Jack died, like you see the blood on the camera.
Yeah. And then Jesse kills Todd. He strangles him with his shackle, chain that connects the handcuffs. Which I like that it was Jesse that killed Todd because Todd did so much shit to Jesse by killing Drew Sharp and killing Andrea the last episode. He did a lot of damage to Jesse, so I kind of like that it was Jesse that killed Todd. So.
Yeah. And something I think someone else pointed this out in a different video, but Jesse killed Todd in a very similar way that Walt killed Crazy 8.
Yeah, pretty much. That's right.
Walt saw that, Walt was watching as Jesse killed him the same way Walt killed Crazy 8, which is a nice little parallel.
Yeah. And then he unlocks himself, and Walt grabs the gun, and I think Jesse too, we didn't mention, looks obviously different. He's got his hair grown out and stuff.
He's like, his wounds have healed, but like he still has a couple scars on him.
Yeah.
It's clearly in bad shape.
Because when you're kidnapped and hold hostage for that amount of time, you're obviously not going to look very good.
Pretty much everyone has pointed out in this episode how shitty Walt and Jesse look.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense though because and I kind of like it. Like they looked, pretty. Like Jesse, you could probably make an argument didn't look the best in this episode, but he was in bed. Like they were. It kind of shows like they were better off in the beginning of the season than they were at the end of the season. So,
Right.
or the series, I should have said. Um, Even the beginning of the season too, actually. But Walter, drops the gun. Jesse picks it up, and Walt tells Jesse, "Do it." And knowing that Jesse's gonna do it because of all what he did to Brock and everything like that. And Jesse drops the gun and says, "Why don't you do it yourself?" And this is a great moment because this is finally Jesse like not doing what Walt wants anymore.
Right. And actually, Walt needs. So Jesse looks like scared at first because Walt has the gun. So I think he thinks Walt is gonna shoot Jesse.
Yeah.
And Walt slides it over, and
yeah.
Walt says, "Do it. You want this."
Yeah.
But Jesse knows he's full of shit, and he says, "Say you want this." So when Walt finally admits that he's the one who wants this, and also Jesse sees the blood on Walt from the bullet wound, so Jesse pretty much knows he's gonna die anyway.
Yeah.
So that's also a big part.
And yeah, I like it because it was kind of Jesse finally not doing what Walt wants anymore. So
he's free. He's free from Jack. He's free from Walt. He's free from everyone.
Yeah, and then Lydia calls Todd, and it actually plays this song, that like says a name over and over again. It's like a classic song, I think. Funny thing is they just played this song to a character we just met named Lydia. Yeah, so that's like more of a reason now people think that The Walking Dead and Breaking Bad like in the same universe. So, I mean, yeah, that's like one reason. That's not really a good reason to like have that assumption that like the same song just happens to play in two.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
You know that people have ears in both universes. I guess that means that they're both in the same universe.
But she wants to know if Walt's been dealt with pretty much, and Walt picks up the phone and realizes that it's not Todd's voice, and Walt's like, "You're feeling sick, aren't you, Lydia? It's from the ricin I gave you," because we find out that he dipped it into a tea, which Lydia pretty much out, and then he says goodbye, Lydia. It was like our last Eisenberg moment we got before.
Like now, Lydia needs to wait a couple days to die.
Yeah, and I like it. I actually found a YouTube clip of this where a lot of people talk about how they like that. We didn't actually see Lydia's death. It's like her death's now known, and this was like, a monstrous thing like that Walt did in a way. But it's kind of like karma for Lydia because Lydia did so much stuff like killing Declan's group.
Threatened to kill Skylar and Holly.
Yeah, so
and she wanted them to actually get killed. Like Todd was the one who kind of like just wanted to warn them.
Yeah. So seeing like Lydia, like, this is like poetic justice that this is how Lydia's gonna die. So, and everyone was happy too because the ricin finally got used. They were waiting for that ricin to get used.
I know. It was Chekhov's gun,
And then, Jesse and Walt look at each other for one last time. Kind of showing like that they have and that was the theme of this episode. What I liked about it, like I liked that, like because typical TV shows probably would have gone for like the happy like feel good and like we're gonna be all great now and stuff and everything's just gonna be okay. Like no, that's not like in a situation like with everything Walt did.
Breaking Bad doesn't really go that route. Like after all the shit that happened, there's no like going back.
Yeah. So Walt and Jesse even got some closure. And that's what I liked about this episode.
They're not on good terms, but they're not trying to kill each other either.
Yeah. And like I said, I think Jesse has a feeling that this is going to be the last time he looks at Walt, so that's why he's not like, hating him now and stuff. So then Jesse drives away and he's all pumped. He acts like because this is the way that somebody would act after being free.
And now he goes to the Fast and Furious movies.
And yeah, pretty much. I don't think it was
crying, laughing, happy.
I don't think it was Fast and the Furious. I think it was some other car movie actually. So.
I thought it was Fast and Furious.
No, it was some other car movie.
Yeah.
And then who talks about the last scene? You and me.
We both talk about it.
I'll talk about it.
Right.
the last scene that happens is Walt looks in the meth lab.
Go ahead, sorry. The last 10 minutes are like my favorite Breaking Bad anything, but if I had to pick like a specific thing from that 10 minutes, it's this right here.
Yeah. And like Walt's looking at it one last time, and the song plays that perfectly like as a fitting end of the show, which is called Baby Blue by Badfinger. I've actually listened to this song like a lot today because I just heard it and stuff. And you know, the first like lyrics of the Sean really fit it, where it says, "I finally got what I deserved," because like we talked about, Walt did so much stuff. It kind of showed like we knew what was going to happen. So the police are coming, and typically like if the police are come, like Walt would escape, but this time he doesn't do that. This time,
he knows his time is up.
Yeah. So Walt, we don't actually see him fall, but we know he falls to the ground because like
the reflection in the machine he was looking at.
Yeah.
And we see him on the ground, lifelessly staring up.
Yeah, and he dies, and the police come in. One of them checks his pulse, and that was the end of Breaking Bad. What a sad ending, like it's not really a sad ending, but it's like
I think it's bittersweet,
Yeah.
Walt dies, but like I think he's okay with that. He did everything he wanted to.
Yeah, and you could see like Walt die with a smile on his face too. Like
he's satisfied.
He got to do everything that he wanted to do, and he died doing what he loved to do too.
Right, and he's surrounded by his beloved meth equipment.
Yeah. So it was a very awesome way to end the show. And
actually, Walt, this episode takes place on Walt's birthday.
Yeah.
So, it's very poetic. Walt was born on this day, and he also died on this day.
Very poetic too, because the episode started on Walt's 50th birthday, and it ended on Walt's 52nd birthday too.
And Walt said that at best, I'll live a couple years at the beginning of the series. So
yeah. So this was the best way. Like
the whole series started off because Walt knew he was going to die. If Walt didn't die, it'd be a little, like Walt.
Yeah. Yeah. Like what was the point of the whole episode? So I loved the way it ended. And as for what happens with Jesse, we didn't really know. Vince Gallon's talked about how he wanted it to like be a mystery of what happens to Jesse.
Oh, Vince Gilligan, you mean?
Yeah. But we're gonna find out because what's the Breaking Bad movie based off of? Everything that goes on with when we get there, everything that's gonna happen with Jesse post Breaking Bad. So. And
I remember actually you had said that like you wanted Bryan Cranston to show up in the movie, and this was before you watched the finale. So I was like, about that.
Yeah, I guess he's not gonna. He still could.
He might like in a flashback, but
yeah, because you can't have this movie without Bryan Cranston. You have to have him at least once.
About that. He's kind of dead. So
yeah,
not Bryan Cranston, but Walter White.
Well,
the only one who could kill Eisenberg was Walter White.
I also didn't know though that it wasn't gonna be. I thought they were gonna redo the whole movie too, but also
like do like a remake type of thing.
Which I'm glad they're not, because you can't while it probably would still be done well. Like if they tried to like remake this even with the same cast, the magic wouldn't be there. I don't think. I feel like the magic would still be there, but like it just because we've already seen. I mean, I don't know. I can't really like explain why it wouldn't work in a way. Like I feel like especially too, you have to have all the same cast and stuff, and it's going to be like tough. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be that hard, but I don't know. I just feel like
the Breaking Bad movie is good. Like shows like this with a really good finale. You're excited to see more, but at the same time, you also don't want the finale to like be ruined.
Exactly.
And like no matter what, like even if I hate the movie, the finale is still really good, and I can just kind of ignore the movie if I want.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not like it's not like other movies that are made like where the finale sucks, but the movie's really good. You're like, but the finale still kind of. I feel like it's better like the movie that the finale's good, not. But if the movie sucks, then. But if Vince, Gilligan's a part of it, there's no way it will because.
Like Watchmen, that was a really good ending, but like the comics are like continuing now with it on, and I'm like, even it's good, but if it turns out to be bad, I can just ignore it. or Code Geass show.
I could do
Making
another example I can do is even though the Walking Dead comics, we talk about how you probably hear about it a lot in school and stuff, how people, but maybe they don't talk about how the Walking Dead should have ended a long time ago. Even though the comics continue, the show itself should have ended a long time ago because it's just not as good as.
And actually, Red vs. Blue is a good example. I'm not going to say anything specific because you've only seen season 1, but it's still ongoing and it's a very good show. But me personally, I always view like season 13's ending as like the true ending.
Yeah. Like Rip's last episode of The Walking Dead is really the last episode of like the true ending in a way.
Yeah, you can kind of stop whenever you want.
Yeah. Even actually, you can't really stop up for Call's last episode, and you'll see why we can't stop. So, but we have to grade the episode.
Oh, A+, easily.
Perfect way to end the finale of Breaking Bad. With Walt getting closure from all of his family members and stuff like that. Awesome. Like the last 13 minutes is awesome as well. And basically, there's really nothing more I can say about why it's awesome because those are like the main 2 reasons it's awesome. But it was just
like this might be depending on my mood. This is my favorite episode. Like this, gliding all over, and like the episode Gus dies are like all like in my top 3, and it just kind of changes depending on my mood.
Yeah, exactly. But let's grade the whole. We're gonna rate the whole series now. What do you give Breaking Bad?
A+.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not perfect. Nothing is, but like its faults make it what it is. And it's beautiful music, beautiful directing, great characters,
great actors,
amazing actors.
I feel like we got
a lot of thought went into this. We can, I want to thank everyone on the staff who did everything.
Like what's the best about this show too is like it just what TV show like just gets better and better by like the season and like stays like as popular as it is because typically you'll have shows will like some seasons won't be as good as others, but I think each season was better than the previous.
Oh, this show got better and better as time went on.
I think the characters were relatable.
Which is something very hard to do.
Yeah, and one thing we gotta talk about is Bryan Cranston's like seen as a top actor, and we could talk about like his role as Hal and Malcolm in the Middle, but I feel like Breaking Bad's really what made him the actor that he. Like one of the best actors.
Like he was well known at first for Malcolm in the Middle, but like this is like what like he's known for now.
Yeah. And it just shows how great of an actor he is because a lot of people like that are put into like a role would have just said, oh, that's just this character from this show. But Bryan Cranston took Walter White role and he became Walter White. Like Hal is like a thing in the past now. Like and the obviously other great like Saul like the guy that plays Saul is so good he got his own spin-off. The guy Dean Norris's role as Hank, just everything about this show is awesome. I think what the best thing about this show is at its peak they knew when to call it quits. Like they quit when they were at the most.
They didn't drag it on like Dexter.
Walking Dead.
Oh yeah. Well, I haven't seen that yet. You haven't seen Dexter yet, though, so. Yeah, we will announce this again. The Breaking Bad content. Wow, Skype. You really gonna make him freeze at the end of towards the end of the video? Wow, wow. Maybe like we should have stopped while we were ahead. Wow. All right, let me end the call. Of course, at the last second of the video,
pretty much Skype would do this. Like, well, we finally finished the show. Skype was just like, here's your reward. We're just gonna act up on you.
Yeah. Breaking Bad is a show, and this episode gets an A+. Skype get an F-. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
But you know what? It hasn't just been me and you reviewing Breaking Bad. It's been me, you, and Skype fucking us over every step of the way. You know, yeah. I'm kind of glad. You know, it wouldn't be a proper send off if Skype didn't want to fuck us one last time.
Yeah, and it's gonna do it again too for like what the last episode of Death Note. It's gonna do it too.
Oh,
so
guaranteed. First episode, every episode of Death Note, I guarantee.
But anyhow, so we'll make the announcement. Breaking Bad content for the in the near future is done, but we're not completely done with Breaking Bad. We have some other videos.
For now, we're taking a little break. We've been on a Breaking Bad train lately.
Yeah, but we're gonna take a bit of a break. But don't worry, Breaking Bad will come back someday. Probably sometime this year because we want to watch Better Call Saul at some point this year. So we're gonna watch Breaking Bad again,
and like pretty soon. So
and we're gonna review some other stuff. I'm probably gonna watch it. I'm at least gonna watch the show like 3 times in my life. Once when we review the show, and then we plan on starting Game of Thrones at some point. So a lot of people say that's the best show ever. Well, we got to look at Breaking Bad again to kind of compare the two. So
yeah, we can do we'll do a lot of what ifs, like what if, I don't know, Walt never got cancer. And we'll do comparisons like Breaking Bad versus Dexter or Walking Dead versus Breaking Bad, stuff like that.
Yeah, or best episodes, best characters. We're gonna try to do
top 5 episodes, top 5 characters. Yeah.
We might try to do a top 5 worst episodes, just because that would be a challenging video for us.
Yeah, worst of the best type of thing.
Yeah. So, Breaking Bad for now is done, but there'll still be content someday. So, and
tune in for that.
Yeah, we're doing a channel update video. We're gonna record it right after we've done this video. We probably should have been started recording it right now, but Skype just.
Yep, Skype. Loves to be Skype.
Yeah. So let's end this video. This is sad now because once we click off this video, Breaking Bad coverage is done.
Anything you want to say? Any quotes? Anything else?
We're done. When I say we're done, or say my
baby blue.
Yeah, I was because that's pretty much what it is. We're done when I say we're done because I'm the one that hit stop recording. So.
Oh yeah, you're the one who actually recorded it. So I could be here all day if you want.
Yeah, but we wouldn't have anything to talk about for that amount of time. But
yeah, lovely weather we're having. 300 miles away.
Any plugs?
My channel, AJ Talent. I will buy hot sauce today so we can. Because I lost our wrestling predictions, so I need to drink hot sauce, so that's fun. And also fair, because I don't know anything about wrestling while you're an expert, clearly, by the Undertaker right behind you.
Yeah. I always say, too, he's always watching, so...
With his weird rolled-back eyes.
And then, he actually doesn't have them rolled back right now, so...
Oh.
So, that's where you're mistaken. And, yeah, check out, my channel's Wrestling Fortune 44. I'm going to do a channel update video on there since it's WrestleMania week, updating you guys on that. CM Brothers, where we're going to, pretty much now, we're going to be mainly there now because that's where we started the Death Note reviews and stuff. So we're going to mainly be on the CM Brothers channel now. And
until we get to the time skip part.
Yeah.
And then we'll start Walking Dead up, which will be on this channel most likely.
Yeah. And then, yeah, this channel too. I'm not gonna mention what I have planned for videos because we're about to literally just do the channel update video right after this. The channel update video will be on both this channel and the CM Brothers channel. So that's pretty much it, guys. This is it. Last time we're done, and that's what I'm saying. We're done.